Well, Ted, we've been talking about MCTs, and specifically, you mentioned some of the work on Parkinson's disease. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the research that you did on MCTs as they pertain to other forms of cognitive dysfunction?
Well, let me first say that it's not the MCTs per se that work on Parkinson's disease. It's the raising of the blood ketones. And that can be done by other mechanisms, including a low carbohydrate, high fat diet. What we don't know yet is what the optimal level of ketones would be in the blood that would do the best job of treating these diseases. But to get back to the medium chain triglycerides, there are a lot of interesting publications that have come out recently. And one that I found especially interesting was one that was published in the journal Nutrition, I think it's the one, very good journal, in which MCT was fed to elderly dogs. And elderly dogs, as you know, sort of show what I might call senile changes in their behavior, personality, loss of interest in the excitement of being alive, and they're sluggish and so forth. What they found was that giving these dogs the MCT, raising ketones, the dogs became much more youthful and more frisky and more responsive to their masters. So it was clear that these dogs were being helped from a cognitive and a functional standpoint by being on these ketone-raising MCTs. And a somewhat similar study was done in aged rats, which showed more or less the same kind of result. So that was encouraging. And then there were some studies in humans with MCTs in which they showed that about 90 minutes after giving a fairly hefty dose of medium chain triglycerides, about 20 grams, that the cognitive performance as measured by objective tests of cognition significantly improved in a large number of these individuals. So this was the basis of several papers that were published showing this phenomenon.
Do you recall when those papers were published, Ted?
I think the first ones came out around 2010 or 2009. That's more or less the date that sticks in my mind. But that kind of report was scientifically impeccable because they used double-blind, randomized subjects, the kind of experimental design that scientists like to see